Talking to my cousin Katie on the phone. And then out of nowhere, a text message come through from his friend Dan from the Caleb's non-responsive. And no post. This couldn't be true. About an hour later, his friend texted me again and said he's gone.
You know, we all knew that Caleb lost his life because this information came out, you know, several months ago. In fact, I even made videos about it when it first happened. But it's crazy because now, fast forward, the season then is now aired, and we're now on the last episode of the season, and we're now seeing exactly the emotions that Tammy went through after hearing Caleb's passing. And I got to say, you know, throughout this video, it's just, I can't imagine how hard it is for somebody to lose somebody, you know, somebody that they're married to, somebody they love. But I just think the thing that's quite, you know what, I'll say that later on in the video. With that being said though, let's continue. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, please.
Exactly how Caleb passed away. At first, they told me it was like a heart attack because he was working out. I get the autopsy back. I think I was in shock more than anything. It was sit and stare at my couch, and I could just picture his face sitting there. My best friend's gone.
You know, the thing is, you know, the thing that I find quite frustrating about Caleb's passing is that he really let down Tammy. You know, I want to see that. I would rather sit and say that, you know, that he let down himself, but I think letting down himself is something that he's done pretty much the majority of his life. So that's why I can't really go down that route of saying that he let down himself, because clearly doing that was something that he was never bothered about, because this man was literally in rehab for a very long time. You know, he never did anything to actually really try and lose the weight. He's always been in this position, I guess, since the day he became in this position, right? But it's just sad because he presented himself as if he was going to use Tammy as the beacon of hope. Tammy was the one that was going to help him get out of this this rut. But then Tammy left because Tammy wanted to better herself, rightly so. And I just think it's so annoying that Tammy has to emotionally suffer from his loss, given the fact that his loss, sadly, was the inevitable. And I have to say that because it's the truth. We've all seen it. If you saw the introduction of Caleb last season, and then you also see how it was throughout this season, and you also saw how Caleb was with Tammy over the period of time when they were on TikTok. So if you go back from the moment that we was introduced to him last season to then how he was in that season, and then in between that season to this season, we saw videos of obviously caused them to on TikTok and other places where, you know, it may have seemed as if he was on board or trying to help her lose weight, but throughout the whole process, that was never really happened, because anything we saw sometimes Tammy having sweets here and there. Now, I'm not gonna say it was his fault per se, but to then see that he was even still having those sweets or snacks in this season.
One minute I'm mad at him for leaving me, not coming home, not having the surgery. And then I get mad at myself for being mad at him.
And the fact is, Tammy should never be mad at herself. Should she be mad at him? No, not at all. It's a matter of whether no one should be mad at anyone. I'm gonna say that.
And times it feels like a dream. Times I blame myself. I feel like if I didn't leave, he would have been better off. Would have done better.
And that's the feeling that Tammy does not deserve to have. She does not deserve to have the feeling of, if I had never left, then things would have been better. No. Tammy had to leave. Tammy never went into rehab with the purpose of staying there forever. Obviously, she'd been in and out multiple times, which is bad enough anyway. But this time, she was on a redemption. This time, she was on a journey of actually doing better. So even if Tammy had stayed in there, I don't know if I believe if he still would have made it personally. Because it seems to me as if maybe he was doing some of these things secretly even when she was there too. Because at the end of the day, even when Tammy left, this man hadn't necessarily lost a significant amount of weight. So yeah.
The old Tammy, and that's not where you should be.
I really recommend Tammy's strength in this one. Ferdy be like, no. First she was like, maybe I should have stayed. Then she's like, no, I shouldn't have. Because if I'd stayed, then I would have been the old Tammy. And that would have ruined me. But I appreciate that she understood that. And she understands that. Because if anything, the worst thing that could have happened to Tammy would have been that she did stay there for the purpose of him.
I don't want to be that person anymore. At first, after I left, he got super discouraged. Unfortunately, Caleb's family can't be here. But his friends, Rob and Lawrence, are here on their behalf.
I can only imagine that his family couldn't make it because of where Tammy lives. That's what I imagine.
Sunflower to sunflower. You stand unique. Most of all, blessing me beyond reach.
Forward to life, forward to new heights and horizons.
Really, really feel sorry for Tammy.
Right, I'm not giving up. I come too far and he wouldn't want me to give up. I was over 700 pounds. I almost died. My throat farts. I've never felt this way about anybody. Got married to Caleb. And I lost my husband. It's been hard. And now that I know that, grieving is a process, I need to try to find a way to end the chapter in my life and...
Listen. It's sad that Caleb's life was taken away. But at the same time, I'm happy that his life going wasn't something that has derailed Tammy. I'm happy that Tammy was still able to keep going. You know what is the thing with Tammy now is that she never had before is she now has a purpose. She now has purpose. That's what's driving her. The purpose, who knows? Doesn't matter, don't care, don't need to know. The fact that she has it is all that matters. And because she has purpose, that's why, her relationship with him was never ever gonna throw off. Was never gonna derail her. But I really hope that the next person that she finds is finally going to be somebody that's good for her. Because every person that she's had in her life so far has never been good for her. Every guy that she's had has always been there to literally either feed her to keep making her worse or to use her just so they can have company. Yeah, I said it. But hey, listen, in life, ladies and gentlemen, we know that life is a matter of life and death, okay? We know this, okay? But at the same time, we also know that we have to do the best that we can to try and look after ourselves. And if we don't, then sadly, sometimes the worst side effect is that we lose our lives. But also at the same time, in this life, we're going to come across people that are going to be here that are going to be good for us. And sometimes we're going to come across people who are going to be bad for us. And at the end of the day, the question is, how do we bounce back from those people that are either good for us or bad for us? I mean, obviously, if someone who's good for us, it's easy to bounce back from, you know what I mean? More or less. But somebody that may have been bad for us, it can sometimes be harder to bounce back from. And I commend the fact that Tammy was able to bounce back from this. Of course, she would never see Caleb as someone that came into life as a bad person per se, because obviously he did nothing but to show her love in terms of the things that he said. Sadly, he can never show her love with his physical actions. Because his physical actions was very simple, and that was to legit lose weight, get out of rehab, and live with Tammy. He had one simple thing to do, And I say simple because it's not because it's an easy journey. It's just like, think about it. In relationships, the simple things that we need from our partner is to be present, to be there, to want to work hard enough to always be there all the time. That is literally one of the basics and fundamentals of a relationship, right? Caleb couldn't do that for Tammy. Sadly so. So sad that he ended up losing his own life. But again, that has nothing to do with Tammy. That was something that sadly was inevitable based on his own history before her. So I like the fact that Tammy did not allow this man to come in and then his death to derail her. I like the fact that she was like, no, but I gotta keep going because I did not want to be the old person again. And that is crazy because the amount of strength that she's had for that is beautiful. Because before that, Tammy's been through less. This is probably the worst she's been through in terms of being with somebody that actually leaves her because he's passed away. Usually she's with somebody who leaves because he's been using it and she kind of knows it. This time is different. This one is something that's definitely going to hurt her even more. But to still have that strength is amazing. But nonetheless though, let me know what you're thinking down below and talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.